Welcome to the original Sounds of NAIDOC with Karina, Hogan and Kat Feeney on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Jingawala Walu, Goodnam, Mugwai. On behalf of the Chepra people, we welcome you. Boka, for NAIDOC 2021. I'd like to acknowledge ancestors, past and present. Ancestor for Southside and that, I'd like to acknowledge is Billen, King Jackie, or Jackie as they called him once. Headman, regional headman of Yurungapan clan. We call this side here, Southside, Sandy Country. In our language, Yaguru Yugurupul, that's what we is known it as. Sandy Country, it means Yurunga in our language. And we are the Yurungapan clan, Yurungapan crew. On behalf of the Chepra people of the Great Southeast, for 2021, happy NAIDOC, everybody.
Thank you, Annie, Deb, Sandy, Shania, and the Deadly Dancers here today. I too would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we are broadcasting here today, and acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which you are taking this broadcast, wherever that may be, on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, and also through our Facebook page where we are live streaming. I'm Karina Hogan, a proud First Nations and South Sea Islander woman, and I have strong ancestral ties with Northern New South Wales. And more specifically, I grew up here in Brisbane, or Logan more specifically, and we're here today to present the original Sounds of NAIDOC. So NAIDOC is something that I've celebrated since I can remember. Just a couple of streets that way at Musgrave Park on the Friday is usually where I would be. But with COVID, of course, we've had to alter that a bit, pull back. What are we going to do? I'm pretty excited to be talking about NAIDOC here today, something that we've pulled together. It's an important week for me, not because I get to see, hear, buy, be black, because I get to do that every single day of my life, but because we get to bring it to the forefront for everybody else in Australia to be able to enjoy and embrace. That's why I'm honoured to have been invited by Kat Feeney and Janae Jenkins to do this with you guys, because we get to bring what it means to be a black fella to the forefront. So, Kat, who are we starting with today?
Karina, we have such an excellent lineup of First Nations talent here on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, and we are live streaming on the ABC Brisbane Facebook page. If you're listening to the wireless and you're anywhere near a screen, why don't you hop online and check out the Facebook page, because you will be able to see, as well as hear, our spectacular performers this afternoon. Kicking us off in fine style, I would like to introduce a proud Gamilaroi woman, Sue Ray, who is also a multi-award-winning singer-songwriter with one of the smoothest, sultriest, richest, keep you listening voices around. In 2013, she was awarded Female Artist of the Year at the Queensland Music Awards. She had a gap year in Nashville, gigging and writing and getting into the scene. Now back in Australia and performing with your band, The Fire Signs. Sue, welcome. It's great to have you.
It is such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
What was Nashville like?
It was really fun. Getting to write music all the time was just like my happy place. So I had a great time.
Yeah, and back here on home country. I mean, country that's got a connection for you that runs generations deep.
Absolutely,
so what does it mean to be making music back here at home?
I'm so lucky. I mean, I'm very fortunate that I'm in a position now as a songwriter that I get to share my songwriting with young fellas and young kids, and get to go out to high schools and work with Indigenous youth, mentoring them through songwriting. So I never would have thought that years ago if you told me that's what I'd be doing, but I'm very blessed that I've found this outlet for music and I get to share their stories, and that's what I'm actually going to perform today as one of their stories.
Yeah, you're talking about the USQ's Deadly Ways program. So tell us a bit more about how that works.
Yeah, well, University of Southern Queensland in Toowoomba and Ipswich has a program called the Deadly Ways program, which is about initiating pathways for Indigenous youth to get from high school into university, to basically let them know it's a possibility. And we do workshops that get them engaged in the idea of it. And one of the things I do is I do the songwriting aspect of it to get the kids, because music is such a great platform for getting kids to stay, awake and sit still, and it's sort of, we did it once and it was a really big success, and the kids really take a lot of pride in the outcome with the song at the end, and they can show their mob what they wrote and tell their story, and I get to help facilitate that. So and today I'll be performing a song I wrote just recently with some students from Fairholme College in Toowoomba. They wanted to write a song in dedication to the NAIDOC theme, Heal Country, and that's what their song is actually called. So
Heal Country, perfectly themed, perfectly timed. What does it mean to you, NAIDOC Week?
Oh, and just like you said, it's about bringing our culture to the forefront and letting people know that we are loud and proud, and that there is this whole culture in our country that is so rich. I mean, it's the longest, still standing culture in the world. So I think something to be very proud of, and to have these places like yourselves giving us the ability to do that and to share our music and our stories, and it's just something I'm really proud of. So
Heal Country is the theme for NAIDOC Week this week, and the title of the song that Sue Ray is about to perform for you live as part of our original Sounds of NAIDOC concert here on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. How many kids were involved in the writing of this one,
This
Sue?
group, it was it's actually a female school, so there was about 7 young girls in the class, only a smaller one, so they chose to write a nursery rhyme. They wanted to write a song about Heal Country, but something from the perspective of a younger person respecting their country. So they mentioned animals and the country, but also their elders and family and unity, and then being able to walk free on their country. So I get emotional talking about it. But I'm very proud of them. Some of them are only 14. So
you're a mum as well, aren't you?
So I have 2 little ones. So
yeah. Is it the kind of song that you would sing to your
Absolutely.
littlies?
This is the second nursery rhyme I've written with these young ladies, and they're so beautiful. And anyone who hears these songs tells me, I sing them to my kids now, and I take it to kindergartens that I perform at and teach these very songs I wrote with the teenage kids to 5-year-olds. So and to start that cycle, and it's great.
That legacy of story and sharing of
If I can get through it without crying, I will be thrilled.
So that's another reason to make sure you are following along on the ABC Brisbane Facebook live stream. So performing from the foyer of ABC Queensland's headquarters this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Sue Ray on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland.
Every river has a song. Every fish knows the words. Swimming through history, tomorrow is a mystery. Kangaroo hiding in the shrubbery. Kookaburra singing from the top of the tree. We all connect to our country, living in harmony. Family is unity, burning bright through history, walking free on our country. Healing is our dream. Home is where we are from, but this land is where we belong. Learning from our elders' songs from now and beyond. Family is unity, burning bright through history, walking free on our country. Healing is our dream, walking free on our country. Healing is our dream. To cry. Thank you. I was trying not to cry.
That was beautiful. It's 2:15.
Thank you.
You're on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. And that was Sue Ray.
This is the original Sounds of NAIDOC with Karina Hogan and Kat Feeney on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland.
And from Gamilaroi country to the beautiful islands of the Torres Straits, our next guest is a descendant of the Miriam people, Luke Daniel Peacock. Hello.
Hello, Karina. How you going?
I'm good. It's been a while since I've seen you. Didn't even realise, but we've worked together before.
We have.
About 8 years ago.
We have.
It's a bit like that here, being a Brisbane blackfella, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And usually we'd probably be about 2 streets that way at Musgrave Park, a very special place for blackfellas celebrating NAIDOC. What would you usually be doing?
Yeah, I'd be doing just that. I'd be down there,
Yeah.
seeing everyone, catching up with everyone, as always.
It's a real.
It's like Christmas down there.
It is a bit.
Yeah.
It is a bit. You look forward to it. Now, you're a descendant of the Miriam people of the Torres Strait Islands, a really special place. And we just heard the wonderful Sue Ray sing a beautiful song about healing country. For you as a Torres Strait Islander man, what does that theme mean for you?
Same thing, but when in the islands, when you think of country, that includes the ocean too, and the seas, and particularly in this current climate, and it's probably worth drawing attention to a group called the Torres Strait 8, which are really at the forefront of really raising awareness and trying to bring some action to climate change, because the Torres Strait Islands, some of them in particular, are right at the front line of the climate crisis, and they're already having to move, and there's already lots of things being lost to the sea, to the rising sea. So I think of that mob, the Torres Strait 8, currently, when it comes to healing country and their fight to get the government to take some action.
And I suppose when I think of healing country and I think of, the Torres Straits, I think healing country is about having that connection with your land. But how do you do that if your country is underwater, I suppose?
Absolutely.
But also, as being part of the longest living civilization, who have been the oldest storytellers here in Australia, what influence does that have over your music, Luke?
I mean, it's very similar to Aboriginal mob as well. Just the passing on of the stories and the, we have quite a unique, there's quite a unique musical history of the Torres Strait, which sort of comes from the pearling industry, where there's all sorts of folk tales and folk songs and things that have been introduced through the industry there that have become a really, really important part of sort of the culture.
And this year, today, for the original Sounds of NAIDOC, you're going to sing a song, Older Than. Tell us about that song and how it came about.
This song was written a while back. It was a song I released as a single, probably just before COVID, I think. It's a little bit of like a stream of consciousness song, which a lot of mine are, so they're kind of hard to just like... They're not really just like a really obvious subject, but I guess it's kind of a song about like what's old is new again, sort of letting go of what you thought you knew, and what is I guess replenishment is probably a good word to use.
Well, we can relate that to NAIDOC Week being a blackfella, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you two also do some mentoring stuff. This is a real thing for blackfellas, isn't it? We're all part of some kind of mentoring program. We have 50% of our population is under the age of 21 compared to non-Indigenous Australia. So it makes sense, I suppose. Tell us about that. It's with Digi Youth Arts. They're from Brizzy.
Digi Youth Arts are a Brisbane organisation that work under a lot of different creative outlets, and theatre and music and dance and visual arts. I work with a young group on the music side of things called the Ancient Bloods as a mentor.
That's one to look out for. They're amazing.
And it's been so great, really great.
Well, I want to hear this song, Older Than.
Okay.
Take it away.
Cool.
Well, say what you will, but don't say it's true. And put your arms down by your side. And put a match to what you thought you knew. And let it burn right to your pride. We were tied up and wounded, but we were older then. And we were cut into pieces, but we were older then. Oh, come back, when you fall in the crack. Leave your guns down in the fire. Let it go, but just don't say it's so. And come and clean, and what you'll find. We were tied up and wounded, but we were older then. We were cut into pieces, but we were older then. We were tied up and wounded, but we were older then. We were cut into pieces, but we were older then. We were tied up and wounded, but we were older then. And we were cut into pieces, but we were older then.
You're on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, and you heard there Luke Peacock, descendant of the Meridian people of the Eastern Torres Strait Islands. And got a gig to plug for you, Luke, because you're playing at Lefty's Music Hall Thursday, August 5, Mild West.
Yep.
What's that all about then? Is that going to be a hoot or what?
Oh, it sounds like it will be.
You'll be there.
It's part of the Brisbane Winter Sessions, I think, through Q Music, and I believe the City Council. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, myself and Clay and a guy from, I think he's from Sydney, and hopefully he'll get here.
Yeah, hopefully.
Leroy McQueen, who's a wild kind of flamboyant cowboy.
How have you been handling the ongoing it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off for the best part of the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's been I don't know, at this point it's just like whatever. Just kind of winging it. I mean, I'll kind of wing it anyway, so it's been a pretty unpredictable ride for me in the music industry anyway, so it's kind of just annoying. It's hard seeing some of my friends that have had to, cancel or postpone a lot of really big shows and things.
Yeah. Well, it's really wonderful to have you performing with us today live on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, live streamed on ABC Brisbane's Facebook page. If you've just joined the program, welcome. My name is Kat Feeney, and I am delighted to say that co-hosting this hour of First Nations Music Power, the original Sounds of NAIDOC with Karina Hogan. Karina, we're going to ask our artists to squeeze a couple more songs out. We've got Gostelow joining us a little later this hour. I think we could ask Sue Ray for another song. What do you reckon?
I reckon that's definitely a goer.
Now, Sue, you have been in the industry for some time. You know, you're so awarded 2013. You've got gongs. You're working with the kids now.
Yeah.
Can I go back, though, to when you were starting to make music and your connection to country? In what way does your identity as a Gamilaroi woman, has that influenced the music that you've made from the beginning of your career?
I'm a bit of a hippie in the aspect that I believe in genetic memory. I really do. I think a lot of our habits and things that drive us come from a deep, like something deep within us. And obviously in mob culture is songlines, storytelling. And I think I've always just been a natural storyteller. Anyone who knows me knows I talk too much. I love a good yarn. I love, embellishing stories. So I guess it was a natural process to end up putting them to music so everyone had to hear my stories.
Brilliant. Excellent strategy.
But I did grow up in Toowoomba, but my dad was chairman of the Toowoomba Country Music Club, and I grew up going to gigs as a kid. We never went to footy matches or cricket games. I went to music festivals and gigs every weekend, and I thought that was normal life. So I guess it was just a normal progression for me to end up in music. Dad's side's got Irish, so I think there's a bit of that storytelling aspect to his side of the family as well. But I think the ability to tell a story, a really impactful one in 3 minutes, is what draws me to songwriting.
Well, how about another one then? Have you got another story to song
I do.
for us? Great.
Well, it was actually written for NAIDOC Week last year by some students I worked with in Toowoomba, and it was their dedication. It's supposed to be from the perspective of the earth singing to humans, and it's called Before You Came. And here we go again. Alrighty, let's see if I can remember it. I am the mountains that you climb. I am wise and old as time. I am the breeze upon the sea. I am the birds singing in the trees. Before you came, I knew the stars, I knew their names. Before you came, I was all that I could be before you came. I will grow my leaves again. I will sing our song, my friend. I will be the air you breathe, and I'll be here till the end. Before you came, the rivers flowed and the land was free. Before you came, I was all that I could be. Before you came, I knew the stars, I knew their names. Before you came, I didn't have a soul to blame. Before you came, before you came.
2:30. You're on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, and that was Sue Ray. Now, before we hear another song from Luke, you've got some work on at the moment. You're involved with Black History Month.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of performances happening.
No,
Tell us
just
a bit
this
more about
Sunday. So I'm playing this Sunday at the Peacock Markets near Botanical Gardens for Creative Nations as part of Black History Month. And I'm releasing a new single in the next couple of weeks.
Oh,
so
go on then.
That was
Tell
that,
us
that
more
was
about
the plug.
that. Come on.
Yeah, I released a single a few months ago and then this is the follow-up because I have an album coming later this year, early next year. So that's sort of
Can you give us a bit of a sizzle for the single?
The song is called Demons Will Win. And it's actually...
Wow.
It's about struggling with addiction. So that's what that song is about. But and it's coming out in a couple of weeks and it's going to be part of an album. And that's what COVID did for me. It forced me into action, into going, well, I don't have gigs. So you know what? I'm going to keep that creativity going at home, and wrote and recorded all these songs myself at home. So.
And this is off the back of All the Lonely Ones, a single that you released a little earlier this year.
Yeah, a couple of months ago.
Has it been hard recording at home? doing it.
Yeah, I was talking
space?
to Luke about it before. It's really hard. As a musician, and when you use a studio, you're using someone else who has creative input, like the producer. When it's all you and you're mixing your own stuff, you become really self-critical. So at 2 a.m. with the headphones on, I'm like, so many mistakes I have to fix. And I know, and then I start hating it, and then you love it again, then you hate it. So I would recommend having someone else mix it. That's my thing. But it's just something we've had to do with COVID. You can't get your whole band together in a studio. Half of them can't get to that studio. So it sort of forced me into like diversifying and sort of branching out into different things and doing music. And I never thought, you know, at my age I'd be recording my own songs, but it did all right as an independent artist. I think it got, my last one went to about number 8 on the country chart.
There
So
you
I think
go.
not
Check
bad for a home job.
I'll
It's like-
say. So punch the name Sue Ray into your search engine of choice. The
you.
single out this year, All the Lonely Ones. We're looking forward to the next release.
Thank you.
Demons Will Win, part of the new album, which is set to drop at
Maybe
some
the end of the
point.
year, maybe
Okay.
early next year.
Have
we
you
don't
finished
know.
it yet, or are you
It
still
dep-
chipping
no,
away?
we're doing one song at a time. That's
Oh,
the
wow,
only.
okay.
It's the only way we can do it these days. We can't get all in the studio together because everyone's locked down in different parts of Australia. Most of my band come from all over, so it's just one of the things you have to do. You have to adapt, and you know.
Keep an eye on the gig guides too for Sue Ray and the
Thank
Fire
you.
Signs. Sue, it's been a real pleasure having
Oh,
you
pleasure being
as
here.
part
Thank
of our
you.
original Sounds of NAIDOC week broadcast. Thanks. Sue Ray on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. My name is Kat Feeney. If you've just joined in on radio, why not open the ABC Brisbane Facebook page too? We are live streaming our Foyer concert for you this afternoon. And of course, I have the pleasure of co-hosting this hour with Karina Hogan. Karina, we're going to get some more out of Luke as well, do we think?
I reckon that's the go. Luke, so Sue's got a new album coming out. What's on the horizons for you?
I've just been doing a lot of writing during this time, demoing and just a lot of recording bits and pieces and sketches and things into my phone. So a lot of that, and look at recording some more stuff too.
Well, I did read that at the tender age of 12, you had a serious injury with your leg, and that's what caused you to pick up the guitar. Yeah. I wonder if COVID might have the same effect. Has it had?
With the writing, definitely, yeah. Because before that, I was just out and about a lot on planes and travelling around and hustling just to make some money and things like that. With that out the window, I'm kind of stuck at home, and I get to write about it all now. Yeah.
And obviously celebrating NAIDOC this week,
Yep.
and as I mentioned, a time to speak about, amplify, what it is and what it means to be a black fella.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not all the same. We're all different. We all have different ways of thinking. What's the messages that you want to get out to mainstream Australia about, what it means to be a black fella, and especially at a time like now, NAIDOC, where we can amplify.
Yeah, I think, for me, it's just been about the community, so much just about the community. And I guess this week's a good opportunity to kind of let people know, like, that still sort of don't, the people don't really understand it that are outside of the First Nations community, and that's fine, but just, I guess, getting people to try and understand, it's a good opportunity to do that, because it means so much.
Well, you've done a great job articulating that today, Luke, and we want to hear your final song. What is it? And take it away.
This is called Dreambox. It's kind of a response to someone from outside of the community that didn't really know what they were talking about. I think I've got... All right, this is called Dreambox. All the way worn and wounded, they were fighting in the streets. He lay there in his dream box, all so pretty and all complete, yeah. Lighting up your life like early morning cartoons, serenading you and saving you, and howling at the moon. I never saw him coming, but I've been waiting there for weeks.
He lay there in his dream box, all so pretty and all complete, yeah. Trying to figure out how much milk goes in the coffee until the coffee doesn't count anymore. Ooh, anymore. 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 He bought into a battle, and someone next to me said, she said, thank God for the foolish and for the grow up so unprepared, yeah. Lay there in his dream box, just trying to figure out why the man that speaks in colors is a man that's not around anymore. 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 Anymore.
Welcome to the original Sounds of NAIDOC with Karina, Hogan and Kat Feeney on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland.
Where it is 25 minutes to 3. Hello, if you've just joined the broadcast. If you came in at the end of that song, you might be wondering about the name of the artist, Luke Peacock. That is the man you've just heard from. Busily writing furiously fresh original music and releasing. Are you on Spotify? Where do we go to find you more? Come on, let's get amongst it.
There's a bunch of stuff on Spotify and all the usual digital
places.
outlets, and there might even be some physical merchandise around too.
Actual old school analog copy. Love that. Luke Peacock on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. My name is Kat Feeney. I am co-hosting our Original Sounds of NAIDOC week with Karina Hogan. We're about to introduce our very special next guest. But Karina, you were mentioning earlier that this is really a week of celebration for you and also acknowledgement. What's your message for white people like me about NAIDOC week? How would you like to see people like me involve myself with the week?
Well, I think it's important to understand that NAIDOC Week is not just the only time that we should be celebrating First Peoples of this country. I think it's something that needs to happen every single day, and you know, I think it's just important that people educate themselves and, you know, just understand. But also, it's just an amazing culture to be part of. It's the best part about me. It's the deadliest thing about me, I think, is being part of this community and a part of. You know, everyone, like the people that I live and have been fortunate enough to grow up around. So, you know, get amongst it, I think.
All right, well, if that wasn't enough to get you motivated, what you're about to hear certainly will inspire you, because you are in for a treat this afternoon. She is from the Llama Llama lands. That's in the Cape York Peninsula. Went from being an aspiring teenage musician from Mighty Mackay to one of Australia's most exciting artists, making a big move away from family in 2019 to work on her music. The latest album is Chrysalis. Tia Gostelow, good afternoon. Welcome. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here.
Oh, thanks.
You have been a busy bee. We're going to hear a couple of songs from you this afternoon, but I got to say, I love the description that has been offered about your music. I mean, I kind of agree with it, but I'm really right on with this sound. Lush pop landscapes and danceable 80s influences. It's my kind of sound, but tell me about your inspiration. What is your sound in your own words?
I guess like it changes all the time, like normal evolution, like growing up and everything like that. But in my last album, Chrysalis, I really wanted to, I guess, explore synth sounds a lot more, do something a bit more dancey compared to what I've done in the past. And yeah, like my music taste changed, and I really wanted to just try something different. And yeah, super happy with how that record turned out, and yeah, just really want to tour it now.
Exactly, right. Busting to get out and
Yeah.
on the road. But tell me, when you were growing up in Mackay, about these dreams that you had for musical fame and fortune. Were you practicing with a hairbrush in the bedroom?
Yeah, and also making my parents sit there pretty much every night listening to me singing Taylor Swift covers. But yeah, I don't know, like I've never really wanted to do anything other than music. I really don't think I'd be good at anything other than this. I'm definitely not sporty, so I really don't know what I'd be doing. But yeah, I've kind of just always been around music. I've been doing country music festivals and competing in them since I was about 10. I've played in pub gigs since I was about 12. That was my job through school, so it just kind of felt like a natural thing for me to do.
Pub gigs through school?
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah. Not for my parents, though.
Oh, well, someone had to do the pickup, I'm sure. But Chrysalis came out and the world kind of got on board the Tia Gostelow train, because it was the feature album on Triple J. Strangers, one of the tracks, racked up about 12 million streams, give or take a few mil.
I think so.
What's that like?
It was pretty crazy. I don't know. I remember when I wrote Strangers, and I had like this weird gut feeling, and it's like, this song's going to be something that really resonates with people, but I didn't realise how much it would have. So yeah, it's a really surreal thing. Like, I have my gold plaque hanging up in my house, and it's just something I never thought would happen to me. So it's very, very cool.
How do you keep it real amidst all of that hype and action then?
I'm so normal. Like, I grew up on an island in the Northern Territory, you know, and then I moved to Mackay, so everything's just everything's so normal, and I love what I do, and I don't know, my family keeps it very real, like all my friends do as well back in Mackay, so yeah, I don't know, I'm just very grateful to be doing this as a job.
We're so grateful to have you here this afternoon, performing 2 songs for us. Tell us a little bit about the first track you'll be performing today.
Yeah, so the first song I'm going to be doing is called Wonder, and it's off of Chrysalis. And I wrote this song pretty much about, I guess, moving to Brisbane, being away from my boyfriend and my family. And I was really struggling with that at the time. I was really homesick. I was living by myself, and I don't know, I was just kind of missing like the small things, like being with your partner, waking up next to them, going for coffee kind of thing. And I was finding myself getting like really jealous of seeing other people like walking down the street with their partners.
Smug couples.
Yeah, it kind of made me feel sick, but I wrote a song instead, so. But this is called Wonder. To break out on my own. Never felt the feeling of being alone. I wanted to find myself, let go of everyone else. I wanted to break out on my own. Wonder what it's like to sleep by your side. I've read all the signs, I've got nowhere to hide. Left all the distance at the back of my mind. Wonder what it's like. Wonder what it's like. Call you when I'm feeling all alone. You call you when I'm feeling all alone. Cut my hair and found my feet. I still have some bad weeks. Call you when I'm feeling all alone. Wonder what it's like to sleep by your side. I've read all the signs, I've got nowhere to left all the distance at the back of my mind. Wonder what it's like. Wonder what it's like. I wander through your life to keep you by my side. I've read all the signs, there's nowhere to hide. Wander through your life to keep you by my side. I wonder what it's like. I wonder what it's like. You wonder what it's like to be by my side. I've read all the lines, you've got nowhere to hide. There's no distance to the back of your mind. Wonder what it's like. Wonder what it's like. Wonder what it's like. Wonder what it's like.
Performing for you live on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, Tia Gostelow. We are live streaming the original Sounds of NAIDOC Week concert that you are hearing if you're listening on the radio to our ABC Brisbane Facebook page. So if you're listening to the program and if you are near a screen that is connected to internet, why not hop on board the ABC Brisbane Facebook page and you will be able to see what you are hearing as well. My name is Kat Feeney. It is 2:45, news at 3 o'clock. Karina Hogan is co-hosting the show. Karina, wasn't that tremendous?
Oh, I love Tia, have always. Bit of a fangirl. I'm much older than she is. She's only 21.
It's incredible. We're going to stand here and talk about how awesome you are in front of you, Tia. Are you okay with that? Are we fine?
Thank you so much.
Oh, now's your chance to ask her all the questions that you have as a fan.
Well, so Tia, as an Aboriginal woman, this week obviously we spoke about it, healing country. It's very much linked to our identity. Every one of us that are here actually aren't traditionally from this space, so we're all kind of transient in a sense. So what does it mean for you being a young Aboriginal woman?
I think for me, like, I'm still learning about my family and where I'm from. Like I said before, I grew up on Groote Island, so that's kind of like the only, I guess, exposure that I had to like Indigenous culture. So I guess for me, I'm just still learning about it. And NAIDOC Week is obviously like a really great time to put First Nations artists and anybody really to the forefront. But I think we should be doing that every day. And I guess for me personally, it's a really great time to reflect on my life, and it's a good time to, I guess, get in contact with my granddad and learn more about my family. And it's something that, obviously I'm still learning about, and I'm really excited to be learning about.
Do you think as time goes on that you may use music as kind of a tool to be able to discover those things?
100%. That's a question that I always get asked, is like how, I guess, my culture has influenced my music. And to be honest, like at the moment it hasn't really, because I haven't really had exposure to it, but it's definitely something that I really want to start incorporating into my music and writing about. And the more I learn about my family, the more that I can write about it and sing about it.
Yeah, and I think it's really important for mainstream Australia to understand that this is quite a common thing in our community, you know. So it's been...
Tell me more about that.
I think, with a lot of the violence and dysfunction that's occurred, I think throughout history, I think it's unimaginable to have a place where we can all say, I'm definitively from here and I know this and I know that. I mean, that mixed with the fact that it's not openly spoken about, it's not generally in the curriculum, it's not something that people take on. People get very uncomfortable. And sometimes I think it's okay to be uncomfortable. But Australia has a long way to go. And I think, what Tia was saying about her identity, I think is very, very similar for a lot of mob. I don't know, Luke, Sue?
Luke, you're nodding?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's just constantly people finding things out and wanting to know more. Just, you know, for so many reasons, things were just kept.
Hidden. It still is,
in
it to a degree, but I think, you know, things like this, I think speaking on radio, I think white fellas doing the heavy lifting every now and again and getting out there and learning for themselves and not relying on us to sort of give them the answers, but also those generalisations you have, you know, you're not white enough, or you're not black enough, or you're not this, or you're not that, or you're too black, or you're too white, or whatever it may be. But I think as First Nations people, it's about being comfortable with who you are. And where you stand in the world. I think that's how I see it anyway. Yeah.
On ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, 10 minutes to 3. You've been listening to Karina Hogan, Luke Peacock and Tia Gostelow. And this is your original Sounds of NAIDOC concert, broadcasting on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland and streaming live to the world through the ABC Brisbane Facebook page. Tia, you mentioned you're keen to get out and start touring. In fact, you've got a few gigs coming up at the end of the month. Fingers crossed it's all going to happen. Sunny Coast, Gold Coast and the Triffid at Brizzy. But we're also going to get a little bit more, Tia, from you this afternoon. Another song you've got tucked up your sleeve.
Yes.
What is it you'd like to play for us now?
So I thought I would play Strangers.
This is the super famous internet stream one. Count the streams now and then count the streams on the other side of this performance and we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, no, this song's always super fun to play. It's kind of like the song that I get the sing-along kind of reaction when I'm playing it live. But it's a bit of a love song. I wrote this a couple of years ago. I primarily would write songs about, I guess, relationships and bad relationships pretty much.
Well, you are in your 20s.
Yeah. But I've been with my partner for a while and he was at a point where he's like, can you like write a song about me? And I'm like, well, you haven't done anything wrong yet, but I guess I'll try to write a love song. And this song just kind of like fell out, which was really, really cool. But I wasn't expecting it at all.
When you say it fell out, I mean, I'm just always so impressed with musical artists with artists generally because it's far beyond my scope and ability. I'm a very enthusiastic appreciator, but I just don't have the original skills. When you say it fell out, can you describe what you mean? Like, were you just sitting at home and hit by a bolt of inspiration and you picked up your phone and scribbled away on the notes app, or what?
I was actually at a songwriting camp down in New South Wales, and it was the first songwriting camp that I'd ever done, and I was put into a room with Will Cummings, he's Lanks, who features on the song, and also Lionel Towers, and I was like maybe 17, so I was obviously very nervous, hadn't done anything like this before, and we got into this like room and we were kind of bouncing ideas off each other, and we all just got along so well. And sometimes it happens that way. You just like really click with people and everything just happens really quickly. And that's how this song happened. And I just had like this really intense gut feeling about this song. And I was like, this is the next single. Like, this is going to blow up. Like, this is just going to be great. And it eventually did, which is awesome.
You were so right. Written when you were 17.
Yes.
And still as popular as ever. Performing for you live on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. Being live streamed on the ABC Brisbane Facebook app. This is Tia Gostelow with Strangers.
The sea grew old while we passed by. We dragged our summer through the winter skies. Photograph me in my wild, a time that we romanticized. Sit a while, watch the moon sink lightly into your glow. With the lights up, two bodies were floating. We were strangers wandering home. We were strangers. We were strangers. We were strangers. We were strangers wandering home. I slept in your bed last night. You took all the blankets and I don't mind. Glasses drained as we lose our minds. Their parts that had us paralyzed. Sit a while, watch the moon sink lightly into your glow. With the lights up, two bodies were full. We were strangers wandering home. We were strangers. We were strangers. We were strangers. We were strangers wandering home. We were strangers. We were strangers. Sit a while, watch the moon sink lightly into your glow. With the lights up, two bodies were float. We were strangers wandering home. Sit a while, watch the moon sink lightly into your glow. With the lights up, two bodies were float. We were strangers wandering home.
Live on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, that was Tia Gostelow. Strangers, the name of that track. A little earlier, you heard Wonder. My name is Kat Feeney. It's about 4 minutes to 3. News at 3 o'clock. Karina Hogan with you on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland and the ABC Brisbane live stream on Facebook. Before we head to the news, a little tease about a special performance that is going to delight audiences in Queensland in the near future. William Barton can tell you more. G'day, William.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Great, mate. What's your story and what's this special performance you're doing with the Queensland Symphony Orchestra?
Well, there's many stories and many chapters. Recently, I premiered my work, Apisateni Mamorutu, which means we sing the country and carry the Coolaman together with the Queensland Symphony, which was the world premiere of my newly written work. And coming up in a couple of weeks in Adelaide, we have the Luminate Festival with the Australian String Quartet with a virtual reality project, which is absolutely amazing, based upon my visualisations of my work, Square Circles Beneath the Red Desert Sand, and then, of course, the Australian Festival of Chamber Music in Townsville, premiering some of my other recent works as well.
Shout out to everyone in Townsville. They're in for a treat by the sound of it.
I'll be seeing you soon, Sean Chilborough.
How long has this all been in the works? What's been the prep for this major series of projects?
My whole life, really. So, you know, like, you look at chunks of your life and you look at the experience that I guess you gain from working with, you know, your collaborators over the years. So having worked with the Queensland Symphony, they're like my musical family. It's my 20th anniversary of my first orchestral concert only 2 years ago. And so my whole thing is to create repertoire for the Australian classical music scene in a non-tokenistic way. And so it is a meaningful relationship with what we consider Western classical music, which is from Europe, but with our own blend of traditional classical music of Australia and the language that flows in between all those different tonalities and colours and frequencies.
Well, unable to bring the full orchestra with you this afternoon to ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland, but so many opportunities to engage with the incredible work that you have created. William Barton, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. My name is Kat Feeney. We're almost at an end of this special concert. Of course, I'll be joining you on ABC Brisbane after the 3 o'clock news. Karina Hogan, your thoughts
Kat.
in closing?
Well, can I just say William Barton is amazing. I've seen him live and I've been looking for you, by the way, so don't run away. But it's been amazing. I think it's incredible to bring blackfellas to the forefront and to really showcase what it is that we can do. Like that amazing song that Tia just produced because it fell out and just happened. You know, I think we are the oldest storytellers and we're not going anywhere. We're continuing on. And it's that meaningful stuff you were talking about, William, as well. So...
You are on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. Thank you so much, Karina, for joining me this hour, and to our wonderful First Nations artists. My name is Kat Feeney. This has been the original Sounds of NAIDOC Week, broadcast on ABC Radio and broadcast across the world through the ABC Brisbane Facebook page. It's nearly time for your 3 o'clock news. I hope you can stay with me on ABC Radio Brisbane. On the other side of the news, you'll be finding out what you need to know about getting ready for census night.
Welcome to the original Sounds of NAIDOC with Karina, Hogan and Kat Feeney on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland.